This is the Raundalselva right here. It's absolutely magical. It's one of the last rivers that we have in Norway that actually runs more or less free from source to sea, and it's so beautiful and it's so varied, and it's good.
I got to paddle it for the first time 20 years ago. It changed my life, and that was what I did, and it shaped what I did, and it made me move back to Voss, where I came from and grew up, and all my priorities in life, basically.
Just going out there and like disconnecting. That's what I really love about that valley, in both the summer and the winter. It's a unique place, I think.
Well, this is my favourite river in Voss, in Norway, quite possibly in the world. And I've seen quite a lot of rivers around the place over the years, but for me now this river is my home and my first choice if I want to go paddling or go for a swim or play with the kids.
It's fun. It's really nice. It's super nice and green, and you can do so much fun stuff with it.
I've seen many rivers around the world, but this one is definitely quite special. It's a river you can drink of. It's just so clean, and all the nature around is crazy. So why I moved to Voss is definitely for this river, for the Raundalselva.
Just like right now, we paddled with Anegren, and it's an after-work paddle for us, but it's world-class white water. That's a really good reason for me to stay here. It's not about kayaking really, it's about learning what this river has in value in itself without me being a joyrider. And I think that's something very important for me to communicate.
Well, people are afraid. People are afraid. They we've been building on floodplains, and people are afraid of losing their properties, losing their personal possessions, and because one thing we do know about this climate crisis is the floods are going to come more often, and they're going to get bigger and bolder, and so people are afraid, and they think there's like one solution to this.
And now there's going on a local election here in Voss, and it's a winning statement to say we need to deal with the flood now. And then everyone's like, yeah, I don't know if everybody says that, but it's a typical dynamic in politics, right? Whereas it's really hard to say it is flooding, we need to take time to find the good solutions so we can still keep living here, but we don't destroy this amazing river that has been protected like 30 years ago for a good reason.
And this is one of the last undeveloped waterways in western Norway. And one of the wildest parts of the world is one of the last bits of wilderness. So I don't see how we can even consider developing it more than it is.
Since the 70s, the world has lost 70% of their wild animals, and Norway has about 5% of the land area left, which is wilderness, despite what people think. So it's just a small piece which is untouched and not modified. Up in the high areas, you have the specialized animals like wild reindeer, you have the mountain foxes, a lot of tiny little moss which nobody has heard about. And you're kind of fragmenting the habitats of some of these species that are now red listed and threatened.
When the fight is about the single river, the one river, you can always mobilize enough reasons why you should dam it. And in that way, nature will always lose. Because there's always going to be really good reasons that why we should just dam this one. We should protect rivers, but we should just dam this one because it's inconvenient for us.
You build a dam and you earn some million krona, and which is not going to be anywhere enough to fund any flood prevention, which is the goal of the project. But we won't have this last waterway, one of the most beautiful waterways in the world. It'll be gone, lost, or if anyone knew what it was worth.
Well, rivers are linear systems, okay? So what happens upstream affects what happens downstream, and sometimes the reverse. What happens downstream in terms of fish passage is going to obviously affect the upper reaches of the river. So that's the benefit of a free-flowing river. It's a free-flowing river has a better chance of maintaining its integrity in terms of its hydrological functioning, its sediment transport, and its ecology. If you start fragmenting rivers through putting dams on them or abstracting lots of water and affecting how much flow reaches downstream, you start to compartmentalise it, you start to fragment it, and its natural functioning is going to be impacted. The unseen changes are the things that then come next, so the trapping of sediment upstream of the dam wall. Sediment will come into the upstream end of the reservoir. There'll be some transport beneath the reservoir surface, but most of it's going to be trapped behind the dam wall, and it will start to build up on the reservoir floor, start to reduce the capacity of the reservoir. That sediment isn't then getting downstream. And as a consequence, the river downstream can scour its bed, the range of particle sizes on the riverbed can change. That may affect the spawning habitat for salmon or other fish species. There's less sediment being supplied downstream to deltas and estuaries, therefore that can lead to coastal erosion